Wasabi wallet. Unfairly private.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody that's joining us tonight is feeling good and happy to join. We've got some bullish panel members here tonight. I'm very excited. This is Why Are We Bullish? Let's get rolling.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
All right. So everybody, welcome. I'm just going to do a quick little rundown of kind of where we're sitting. Here on the bitbo.io dashboard, we're sitting at 22,920 some odd dollars. For $1 you can get 4,362 sats, and 88.47% of all Bitcoin that will ever exist has now been mined. Stack those sats while you still can. Quick shout out to sponsors of the show, LEDN.io. This is where you can use your Bitcoin for a variety of different services. They saved me my butt on a couple occasions where I needed to get my hands on dollars, but I didn't want to sell my Bitcoin, so I was able to put it, deposit it, and get dollars in my bank account within 24 hours. And when I pay back that loan, I got back all my Bitcoin. They've also got savings accounts, B2X offering, and tons of great stuff over at LEDN. Check them out. If you opt to get one of their loans, they will give you $25 for free if you click the link down below. Of course, Cobo, one of my regularly used hardware wallets. It is beautiful. I just reviewed it and showed how to use it with Blue Wallet doing multi-sig. This thing is boss. It is badass. By the way, highly recommend you switch over to the Bitcoin only firmware, but it does have a secure element. Again, 100% air gapped all through QR code, open source firmware, works with all my favorite wallets like Bitcoin Core, Electrum, Wasabi, Blue Wallet, all of that good stuff. Check them out. Link down below. And I'm living on Bitcoin, and I can do that partially through Bitrefill because I can buy basically anything I need via here. All of my income is Bitcoin, and so I gotta spend sats, but I'm definitely more of a saver now that the only money I hold is sound. But if you're like me and you need to live, you need to eat, you need to buy gas, head over to Bitrefill, and you can earn some of those sats back as you do so. And finally, maybe consider not putting your backup on paper. Maybe consider putting it on steel, make it fireproof, waterproof, and U-proof, because you're probably not going to throw out a solid piece of steel. Head over to Privacy Pros. These guys have the BillFodl bad ass. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right, I'm going to start bringing in the panel. We've got Nico. We've got Camila. We've got Corey. We've got Jesse. Welcome, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Amazing.
Awesome.
What's up, man?
Everybody's bullish. Everybody's bullish. It sounds like we've got the chat going. There's already 70 or some odd people watching live right now. So if you're watching live, make sure you start joining in the chat, and we will bring some of those messages in as we're watching live. I got to get the banner up though. Of course. Smash that like button, you guys. Smash it hard if you are bullish. It helps get these videos in front of more people. But we're gonna get rolling. So the theme of the show, as always, is why are we bullish? We live by the 3 R's on why are we bullish. We give a reason, we do a riff, and then we rotate. So I'm gonna get started, and then we'll start going down the line. So I am bullish. I am bullish because actually it's through proxy. So we saw the SEC come down on XRP and Ripple today. And I'm not a big fan of regulatory bodies, but it does really show the elephant in the room, which is the SEC is coming down on Ripple because they can. And Bitcoin is just sitting there pretty much unaffected. There's nobody to come down upon. Yes, they can, there's worries about trying to regulate on and off ramps, but Bitcoin continues, whereas XRP does not. Maybe we'll see what happens. Probably some slaps on the wrist, but the fact that they can even be sued and Bitcoin cannot, makes me bullish. And again, it's I think we're going to see more of this from more coins, and those coins are going to have to fit within certain parameters, and Bitcoin will continue becoming anti-fragile. I love it. I don't know what, Nico, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about the whole XRP thing, about the lack of regulation that can truly hamper Bitcoin as a protocol? How do you feel about this?
Yeah, first of all, man, so happy to be here. I absolutely love this show. If you guys haven't already, like and subscribe. And man, it's man,
and actually, Nico, as you're talking, I was going to say, I didn't get everybody to introduce themselves. So as we do this first panel, introduce yourself before we jump into your comments on it. But Nico, let people know who you are before you dive into your.
What's up, guys? My name is Nico. You guys know me on Twitter as BitFodl7. I run bitvault.com, where I host ASIC miners on the cheap. And I also do a daily YouTube show called Simply Bitcoin. It's a 10-20 minute daily recap show. I've had a couple of you as guests. It's pretty awesome. Go check it out. But yeah, that's what I do, man.
That's awesome. And so what are your thoughts here with the XRP thing?
There's so many things happening that the question is, like, it shouldn't be why are you bullish? It should be like, why are you bearish? Because there's just so much good news like flooding everything. And man, XRP, that happening at XRP, the way that I see it, it's a vindication, right? Like it's same as Bitcoin hitting all-time high. It's a vindication, and it's like a patch of, you know, surviving this like last 3-4 year bear market, man. So it's man, we're in awesome times, and I'm so excited for next year. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I 100%. I think we're in for some big movements. Camilla, I'm going to go to you now. You know what? I should have also said that one of my reasons for being bullish is a little bit directed towards you, because you managed to step into the space and somehow miraculously like Neo your way past the shitcoinery, like almost right off the bat. You like avoided that whole trap. I know you have a significant other that is a beautiful guiding light of morals that maybe helped you through that process. That's fantastic. But what are you thinking about this whole XRP thing and Bitcoin just standing there in the corner going?
What's super funny is that this was like what do you call it? Like a circling moment for me, because when I first started on Twitter, I saw that a lot of people were getting mad about the Rapple girl. So a video came up about this girl on TikTok, and she was just talking about Ripple and how, you know, she's tired of old people and this is how we're going to become rich. And you know, she was like, this is how you do it. You just have to invest. And then that video had like 50,000 likes. It was completely insane of just people super interested in that. And I remember Brady just being super mad about it. And he was like, I'm going to start TikToking now. And then he still has one video up. So props to him. And so that kind of gave me the inspiration of starting TikTok videos about Bitcoin. And so when I saw that, you know, they're getting sued, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to just bring this video back and kind of show how ridiculous it all is and how everything's just going downhill for them. And we're still here. So yeah.
That's great. I don't know if anybody else on the panel saw her TikTok. She shared it to Twitter, but yeah, fantastic. We need more maximalists on the I agree with Brady's take that we need more maximalists on some of the up and coming platforms, just to have that dissenting voice of the, like, I don't know if you guys follow on Twitter, there's a profile that's just called TikTok Investors, and that was probably what the Rapple girl was on. But oh my God, it's unreal. Let's head to Jess. Jesse, maybe again give a you've been on the show before, but those not familiar, just let them know who you are, and then let me know your thoughts on the whole Ripple thing.
Yeah, so thank you for having me back, first of all. So my name is Jesse Berger, and I wrote Magic Internet Money, a book about Bitcoin, which is why I have this hat on versus a Santa hat. And yeah, the Ripple news, I mean, it seems like it was a long time coming in a certain sense. I remember when I first sort of started dipping my toe into this world that I was reading the headlines and hearing, oh, Ripple's doing all this stuff with banks. Oh, this seems so, well, maybe I should try to work for this company. And my friend, who was sort of like my Sherpa when I first started getting into things, he's like, what are you talking about Ripple? Like, have you even researched it? Like, what do you think they do? Like, what do you think is happening here? And so, I go away for a day and I come back to them like, oh, they had 100 billion tokens and they own like 90 billion of them. How does that work? And so, yeah, that was out the window. And oh my God, it's just been, watching the whole show of Ripple unfold with all their gimmicks. Didn't they announce a quantitative easing for Ripple at one point?
That was actually that. I blame Brecky. He's in the chat right now, but that was fake news. And then I shared it.
I fell for it. He got me.
To be fair, it was hilarious fake news, and the fact that people thought this could probably be a real thing from Ripple, it's not out of the question.
Ripple. Yeah, knowing Ripple, that's the thing. To me, it was like, well, maybe they think people are that stupid. Turns out I'm the dumb one, I guess.
Well, I mean, people did buy Ripple, so they wouldn't have been.
Yeah, at least I avoided that trap, right?
Corey, what are your thoughts? And also, Corey, anybody unfamiliar watching, let them know who you are, and then give us your thoughts.
Word. Yeah, this is Corey Clipston, founder and CEO of SwanBitcoin.com, open selling Bitcoin to people in all 50 US states by the fistful. I don't know, man. I'm bullish that this market really kicked off. I'm bullish on having smash buys on Swan. I'm bullish on volumes just about 10xing in the last 2 months. That's good. Otherwise, I'm bullish on all you guys and ringing in a nice little holiday season with our Santa hats and wizard hats and all of this. And the chat is already lit. So glad to see all of some shout outs to Brecky and Stacy Herbert, the queen of Bitcoin. Max's better half is in the house. Good to see you. Javier Bastardo in the house.
Brecky's throwing shade at you, Corey.
It happens. It happens.
You're so fired, Breck. Yeah, we'll bring back. We'll bring back the crypto Brecky tag.
Okay, contact the CEO of Bitcoin, Brecky. They're always hiring meme masters.
So we're now going to dive into more. We're going to riff on the next round of why are we bullish. We'll focus in on specific individual reasons from panel members. Before we do that, of course, everybody that is here in the chat, of course, please do make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you give this a share, because when you do that, this gets in front of way more people. There's about 75 live viewers right now. Let's pump those numbers up, son. Let's start with Corey. Corey, do you want to zero in on something that really has you bullish as of late? Anything either Swan related or whatever you want to riff on?
Sure. Yeah. No, for real. I just finished a piece this afternoon that's going in Masari, I think next week or something like that. And it was just kind of like a look back and kind of a look forward, and actually sitting down and listing out the people that lended credibility to what we're doing in Bitcoin just in 2020. It is getting to be such a long list. Like, it's not, you can't send an email with 3 bullet points. It's like I had to create like a chart with, all these names, and it was all logos and headshots of like Druckenmiller and Bill Miller and PTJ, Paul Tudor Jones, and Scott Minard from Guggenheim, and Michael Saylor, obviously, and Square and PayPal and Northern Trust, which is a $13 trillion frickin' dollar company that has said they're going to custody Bitcoin. Like, it just, the list goes on and on. NYDIG coming out of nowhere and announcing essentially what they've been doing for years, but putting 100 mil on their balance sheet just over and over again. It was just so bullish. And then putting together, and actually we have me and Zane Pocock, who's doing some writing for us, and some Eng now too, and Brady, we're going through and just finding the different price targets that actual Wall Street banks have put out and actual big hedge funds have put out, and just putting them in order and being like, these guys are just playing this hilarious game, 8 months after calling it a fraud. It's like JP Morgan's at 640, and that's very specific, 640. Citi, not 300, $310,000, I swear. And it's like, I like Kathy Wood, who's been around forever and always liked Bitcoin and Tesla. And she's just like, yeah, 500 grand. Like that's a real price estimate right there. It's fucking $500,000 sometime soon. These bankers come out and they're like 280. Sorry, I can't say 288,000 in public, but comes to mind as a scam projection. But something like 310,000 or 640 or something is just hilarious.
Yeah, it's always funny when you picture them in the background, like doing the math, saying this is precisely how it's going to work out, and this price target has like real numbers behind it, and we think I can only imagine. But
I think it's literally May that JP Morgan actually put out a very detailed 6-page report and just had it ass backwards and said that the price of Bitcoin was driven by mining, as opposed to the other way around. Like, obviously, whatever the price is, that determines how much people are willing to pay to get more Bitcoin from mining. Like, just completely ass backwards on its face if you understand anything about Bitcoin. And, that was May.
I like picturing them in their offices, really crunching the numbers and doing the math. Okay, what is this going to get to? What factors are going to be at play, and how is this going to play out? Okay, 310. Well, if we tweak this, is this rate going to be 5% or 6%? What's it going to get us to? Really thinking about that when this is a big idea. It's just better money. Start with that. Worse money, better money.
Just get as absolute much of it as you can while you can. Basically.
I have a buddy of mine that works at Goldman Sachs, and I've been trying to get him to the dark side. I always text him this every time the price of Bitcoin goes up, and then he'll text me if Steve Mnuchin tries to announce a regulation, he's like, it's dead, it's selling. Man, I've been trying to convince this person for 6 years. Works at Goldman Sachs, right? And he still doesn't get it. So all these legacy financial institutions, man, they just don't get it. They don't fully grasp it. I think they're seeing it as a traditional security, and Bitcoin is just such a whole different beast because you could self-possess it, right? So man, it's incredibly exciting, and all these institutions coming in, and what Corey was talking about, the dam has broken. It's official now. You can't deny it now. This has total legitimacy. And if you compare the 2017 bull run, what they were saying on CNBC to now, it's so many big names are backing Orange Pill right now. So it's awesome.
Does anybody have a favorite name drop that you saw? What's everybody's favorite name drop you saw speculate on Bitcoin price to the upside and suddenly become bullish? It could be an institution, a person. For me, I think JP Morgan was a big one, just because Jamie Dimon was such a dunce over the past number of years, calling Bitcoin a scam and a fraud, and saying that he would basically fire anybody on his staff that he caught trading Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden JP Morgan, although they probably had the most bearish outlook of the bunch, I think they projected 100K, and then Citibank, it was 300 and something, and everybody else, Guggenheim 400K. So, I mean, to be fair, they had the lowest trajectory for Bitcoin price out of the big banks, but still that swap from fraud to maybe 100K. Just that one for me was that it hit the heart.
Do you want to go? I liked when Scott Minerd, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, when he came out on Bloomberg and was like, yeah, casually we got this $400,000 target, which I think Andy Edstrom had written about in his book. But they're like, wait, what did you say? We need to just put the Fed on pause here while we talk to you about your Bitcoin price target. like that was a really nice moment for us, I think, for the Bitcoiners. So that like felt weighty. Felt weighty for sure.
Stacey Herbert just chimed in. She said JP Morgan predicted 650,000. I think actually, because I did a news show on this the other day, JP Morgan predicted a $650 billion inflow from the markets that it's going to take over, like or something along those lines into the market cap. It was something along those lines, but the 650 was to do with unless I totally missed that, but maybe I would love to be wrong and for JP Morgan to have flip-flopped from fraud to the highest prediction for Bitcoin. That would be pretty sweet too. Camilla, did you have a favorite thing that you saw of just somebody wouldn't expect coming along with a bullish Bitcoin price, or has it been all around for you? What are you feeling?
Honestly, I don't know. But what I am waiting for is Mark Cuban to like become super bullish sometime soon, because he was talking about how I prefer bananas because they have high nutrients for people. And in my head, I'm like, you prefer bananas over Bitcoin? Like, what is this? This guy just doesn't get it. So that's the one I'm waiting for. Like, I am so excited for it to happen.
Did you see today he started saying, hey, if you want to get tickets for the Mavericks, the team that he owns, I'll give you a 25% discount. And then was it Corey? Was it you?
It was me. This was literally what I'm most bullish about right now. And Camila stole my shit. But literally Mark Cuban's near-term immediate price target on Bitcoin is 32,000.
Oh, Corey, you're Corey Clipstein is Clipsteining out a little bit here.
He's going to take sats for 20.
Clipstein, you're clipping. So I'm gonna give it to Jay or Nico for a second.
I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, out here on the West Coast, I'm pretty sure 6 p.m. is like 4 o'clock or something. I know the whole neighborhood's split up.
How many tabs do you have open, sir?
Can't really be held responsible for nighttime upload speeds.
Yeah.
the OnlyFans capital of the world out here.
I'd subscribe to a Swan OnlyFans.
Oh my God.
Nico, do you have a favorite drop?
A lot of
man.
I'm just gonna say that.
Look, all the naysayers, all the people that have been talking crap about Bitcoin, this reaching an all-time high was, yes, it's the vindication, but when we reach, the 100, 300, 400K level, that's revenge, right? So I just can't wait to see Nouriel's face, Mark Cuban's face, all these financial people. You know what gets me so bullish is that every single because this is so important in the information warfare, right? And every single financial tweet, whether it comes from the Federal Reserve, the central bank, the European Central Bank, or whatever, you have Brecky, you have Corey, you have all the Bitcoin plebes just all attacking all of these threads. Like every single one never misses. And it's just like, it's like this war between fake money and real money. And it's awesome, man. So all those people that are talking crap about Bitcoin, let's talk again next year. Let's see where your head's at, right?
In a war of attrition, Bitcoin wins. Bitcoin never gives up.
Bitcoin always wins. You can't kill the honey badger. The honey badger kills you. Okay,
Bitcoin,
so
the best part is that I feel like this kind of happens a lot. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'll see a really stupid ass tweet about some price prediction of like XRP or something, and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm gonna bookmark that for like 2, and I'll be like interacting with the person. I'm gonna show this and I bet you that the people on the other side of those arguments are also bookmarking it and setting notifications. But then when the notification comes 2 years later and they've like lost everything and there's just like nothing but sadness filling their inbox, they're like, I can't even respond. I only did it, like responded to one of those once where I like got really heated with probably an XRP guy. But I got really heated with somebody, just like, dude, you're shilling this and these predictions that are never going to come true. It's not going to surpass Bitcoin. And I remember setting a notification for myself like sometime way in the future, just because I was a little bit more vindictive in my earlier Bitcoiner years. But it came to pass, and I got the link to the tweet, and I just like commented. I was like, well, this didn't pan out. And the guy, literally, his response, I just felt so gutted for him. He's like, yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I guess you're. And I was like, oh, I feel so bad, dude. And then I spent some time comforting him. I was like, man, it's okay. We all go through these phases, going through like, it's okay. Come back. We'll
Back to the
welcome you.
light.
Yeah, so it is sad because you do see it. You go back and you see these tweets of people that are, oh, and then there goes Corey Clipston. He prioritized OnlyFans. He'll be back. Okay.
Yo, send me that link, man.
Yeah. It's got to be good. It's got to be a good.
Someone said cornhub.com, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cornhub. I've got to say, well, even though he's not in the room, Bitcoin TV is a genius idea. 24/7 Bitcoin content streaming. Incredible. And I know that Brecky in the chat, he's instrumental in putting that together. So yeah. So and then Corey said he'll be back shortly. And Brecky, cornhub.tv. I love it.
We need to get more girls to start watching Cornhub.
I
need
know.
to create a campaign.
I don't know
It's-
why, but my girlfriend does not give, two flying about Bitcoin. She doesn't care. She has a crap load of Bitcoin because I've been like pushing it on her, but I'm like, babe, look. She's like, that's cool. We go buy a puppy, we go to dinner.
Yeah.
But,
When you think of Cornhub, the content on Cornhub, it quite literally is the inverse of Pornhub, in that the number of male content creators on Cornhub versus female content creators on Pornhub. I'm just saying, like, let's equalize things out here.
Yeah.
we have to shake it up for sure.
Yeah, so like all the Bitcoin bros got to jump on Pornhub, I guess. Is that how we fix
You're
it?
gonna balance it out.
Is this what happens? Is that not what the audience wants? I don't know.
So when people get bullish, man, well, crazy things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay. Let's move on to the next panel member. You know what? I'm going to pass it to you, Camilla. I'm going to let us know rather, why are you feeling particularly bullish at the moment, and we can riff on that for a bit.
Yeah, so mine is pretty simple. I'm actually visiting family here in Florida, and my husband and I, we live in Denver. So before the holidays, it was like when I got the orange pill and I was like, oh my God, I'm hooked on this. I dream about this now. This is insane, right? So I was like, I'm going to make this a mission that when I go to my family, I'm going to talk about this and get them to start investing on Bitcoin. I don't care about how high the number may seem. They just need to start stacking sats right now. And to my surprise, they were just like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Let's do it. And I was just like, yeah, you guys are not going to want to argue with me. I thought this is how it went. When you try to orange pill someone, you're going to get some, friction. And they're like, no, yeah, that sounds amazing. Let's do it. And I was just like, all right, let's do it.
That was easy.
That is not the typical, like, anybody that's been around for a few years, at least, that's not the typical response. Usually, those that were even before, let's say, if it wasn't within the year of 2017, most people did not have that initial response. It was more, hey, I just, you're trying to find an in to talk about Bitcoin, and everybody's like, they're like, they'll humor you, and then it's crazy how it does shift, and you notice it more and more as the years go on. And I mean, it's Now it's a lot easier to if somebody has questions and thinks maybe you're a little crazy, you know, when you say like, well, I mean, Citibank projected, one of their analysts is projecting 300K, you know, like just to drop things like that, it's a little bit easier of a conversation when it is like a greater conversation. And in the midst of, well, they did just print, you know, how many $1 trillion this year. So like, you know, there's a talking point to get in, but
that was one of my arguments for sure. I was like, you guys, I know you guys have some money saved up. You guys want to protect that money and not let it just completely melt, then you guys need to start investing and putting it in Bitcoin. That's the only way. It's the only way. And they basically got it. It was funny. My dad asked one of his friends. Now he's like starting to talk about it with his friends. And my dad was like, have you heard of Bitcoin? And his friend's response was, yeah, didn't it die like years ago? And my dad was like, no, no, not at all. It's like over 20K. What are you talking about? And so I just feel like specifically with my circle of influence, like with my family, friends and stuff, it's like this is something that they've never thought about before. They don't know about what's happened in past bull runs. They don't know how old Bitcoin is. This is like brand new information for them. So I think it's important for me to relay it to them in a way that's kind of like, you're going to benefit from this in the long run. So you just got to do it now. This is the best time. Don't worry about the price. It may look too high. You can stack sats. Eventually you're going to get to a Bitcoin and then another one. So it's just a game that's in the long run, and we're just ready to play. Like, we need to go. And so they get excited, I guess. They get hyped, and they're like, all right, yes, let's do it.
I think one of the things that Bitcoiners have begun to recognize is that, you know, it's become a little bit less, let's get everybody to believe me. And it's become more, let's get the people that are important to me and my family to start to recognize this as an avenue to preserve their wealth and preserve the fruits of their labor. And it's more of a self-preservation and kind of like immediate family preservation mechanism of saying, guys, this is like, you're important to me. So it's important to me that you know about this, or that I've at least tried to impart this knowledge on you. And I think that's been a little bit of a shift. Of course, like people out here, you know, all of us are kind of making content to make it more accessible to everybody, but it's kind of like a proxy mechanism to then give to people to use, to then show to their family and help them through that process. So there has been a little bit of a shift. I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but maybe if anybody else wants to comment on their recent experiences trying to share Bitcoin with friends and family, and if that's differed recently. I don't know.
Yeah, so I've beat it into my mom and my two sisters, and they're both younger than me, and they don't really care about Bitcoin, but at this point they have a pretty decent big bag of Bitcoin because I've been telling them for the last 4 years. Recently, I actually got them signed up on Swan Bitcoin's dollar cost weekly average. So they don't even know they're doing it. And I have them both signed up on Casa's multi-sig gold. So I'm very happy with my two sisters and my mom. They don't even know they're stacking, but they're stacking. So I'm doing my job as a son, right? So
you got to Swan and chill.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't forget it. Swan and chill.
I love Swan, but Swan's perfect for, it's like, you know, forget about it. I need that dopamine rush. I know that Swan added that lately because I like to press a button and know that I stacked and then withdraw that. Even if it's like this tiny little amount, I'm going to withdraw it anyway, pay $4 in fees. So I don't care.
I didn't actually check to see who it was, but in the first 48 hours after we randomly turned on smash buys on the day of all-time high. It was last Wednesday. And in the first 48 hours, somebody smash bought 47 times.
Do you guys remember?
Like a big do, but I don't even know if you're a client.
Do you guys remember when Amazon had those little buttons you could order for your home to like set beside your side and like press? We need that for Bitcoin, like near a computer, so I can just sit here and be like, like an hour.
This is actually on our roadmap. I'm not kidding. Gigi might build it in Q1.
Dude, you have to.
A physical button that is connected to your phone. The new app that we're building.
Have you guys ever woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning and just rolled over, bought Bitcoin, and went back to sleep?
Sleep like a baby. So good.
I think I do it every other night at this point. It's just become regular. And then the next day I wake up and I'm like, oh, that was a good move.
That's amazing. I love it. How about you, Jay? I mean, you wrote a book, so your family must know that you're thoroughly down the rabbit hole. How supportive have they been in that journey?
Yeah, I wrote a very wholesome, family-friendly book about Bitcoin, telling you why, number go up technology is wonderful, but why by, we were talking earlier about, you're trying to help your family and those around you that are closest to you. So by helping yourself and your loved ones and your friends and your family, you're helping your community, you're helping your country, you're helping the world. Like, it grows outward. Bitcoin is very altruistic in that way. My personal situation has been wonderful. My parents, my siblings, my girlfriend, everyone's been super supportive of the book, of the process of writing the book. And certainly, Bitcoin, it's funny how much easier those conversations have gotten since we broke 20K. It's amazing the difference between, 19.5, no one cares, 20K, everyone can't, now we're talking about it again. It's starting to make those headlines again. We're getting all these analysts coming out. Those conversations are getting much easier. People are much more open to the idea because a lot of the faults in the current system are getting exposed again. And we should have learned the lesson from, multiple crises in the past, but we haven't. We, for whatever reason, have a short memory. But maybe this time is different. I should knock on wood saying something like that. But yeah, it's been great. I've gotten to have some great conversations. I had an old friend reach out to me today, and we talked about, he wanted to talk to me about like cybersecurity, and because he works in cybersecurity and cryptocurrency, and if we can do something, on that together. And I don't know if we're gonna do anything on that, but because that's not my specialty. But it's just interesting that like it's coming out of the woodwork. The interest is coming. And we talked earlier about being legitimized. And so yeah, it's been great. Like the reception, being able to talk about it, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. It's getting to be an easier conversation to have. That is for sure. And I mean, I find the tough part in the bull market, because I mean, everybody and their grandmother is getting in at that point. It's a lot easier conversation to have. It's bestowing that mentality of kind of long-term thinking, that low time preference mentality on people, so that they don't deviate down, the shitcoin, side street there and get totally wrecked and then step away. Because when you step away during a bear market, you really, it's almost more painful than having been in during the bear market and buying a bunch of garbage and realizing it. It's because the opportunity cost of that is massive. It's insane what you miss out on if you don't capitalize on that moment to understand what you're doing. And a lot of people, I mean, I guess this is just the cycle of Bitcoin, right? Like things get going, you get that FOMO, people start jumping in, and some people understand and some people start to read and learn, and others don't, because maybe they don't have any good people around them. Maybe they just kind of jumped in on it and they don't end up in the right groups, or they don't end up reading the right books, or they're watching the right 24/7 streaming services, but like, they go down the wrong road. So I don't know.
And we're only still like, there's no FOMO yet, right? Like we're not at that point yet. It's much more the sense that, and this comes a little bit to the topic I was going to bring up, that there's mounting curiosity and interest. I was going to use interest as a topic, interest, not in the sense of like a bond earns interest, but interest in the sense of like people are getting curious again about Bitcoin. And it's specifically about Bitcoin this time around. It's not about any of the shit coins. It's not about, Ripple just got crippled. Like, it's about Bitcoin, and it's wonderful to see, because that's the one that's going to change the world, right? Like, this is the thing that we need to rally around.
Yeah, 100%. It's, and I think we're getting there. And I mean, again, not to toot Camilla's horn too much here, but I think she's a product of the fact that there's good content out there now, and you can dive down those rabbit holes and actually get good information. And that's something that, 2016 getting into early 2017, there wasn't as much of. It was a little bit more sparse. But now, like, again, there's great books out there. There's great content creators. There's news. There's all the stuff that you need. And I think it's when you stumble across it, it rings a little bit differently in your ear than, somebody pump and dumping some random coin. There's more substance behind it. And I think once you get exposed to it, there's a little bit of recognition of that. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my stance here, but I'm eating up a bunch of time. So we're gonna jump to Jesse here. Jesse, why are you feeling bullish currently? And let us know.
Yeah, so when we first came on, I was gonna say something about Ripple, but we sort of touched on that. I just mentioned about this sort of wall of interest that it feels like there's this wave, this tsunami that's just waiting to come in. And I guess I'll distill that down to something simple. We'll distill it down to maximalism. I'm bullish on Bitcoiners because Bitcoiners care about Bitcoin and they don't care about other stuff. I for one, I do kind of sympathize with, some coins that are able to, call it innovate, that can add something to Bitcoin, right? Like we used Litecoin as a testnet for SegWit, more or less, right? So there's maybe something to be gained, but it's not to say that that's the money. It's not to say that should be oh so valuable or the thing we organize society around in the future. That thing is Bitcoin. And so I'm just bullish on everyone coming to the realization that Bitcoin is the thing, that everything else is completely overvalued, that everything else is, just an illusion, and Bitcoin is the truth. Bitcoin is the real thing. The world is going to become a maximalism, is approaching maximalism on Bitcoin.
So I'll toss it to Nico here. What do you think, in your opinion, what do you think needs to happen to make Jesse's utopian Lionel Hutz holding hands around the world future come true? What do you think we need to do? Oh, you're muted, dude.
Sorry about that. So I'm not a big fan of utopias because humans are imperfect by nature. So you can't have a perfect society if there's something imperfect, right? But to kind of add to, I think one of Bitcoin's best qualities, and if you're an immigrant, you understand this very well, is that it's extremely liberating. For the first time in human history, you could take your wealth, your net worth, your energy, like Michael Saylor likes to say, and just pack it up, get on a plane, take it with you. And if you know they're going to search you memorize those 12 words, you put them in your head, and you take it all with you, right? So it's just a question of, and I think that we've seen this, I would say the last 2 or 3 years, right, with the mainstream media. This next war that we just won a small victory. We just got vindicated from these 4 years of hodling, right? But the next war that we're eventually going to come upon is the war against, I would say, the legacy financial systems. And the best tool to beat that, and I'm not joking, I'm totally serious, are memes and content, education, and pointing people towards the truth. You just have to point them towards the truth, because once they're unplugged from the matrix, once they've taken that orange pill, there's no way they can reconnect. They won't even want to reconnect to the matrix because they'll all see that it's a facade, right? So it's just a matter of educating the masses, right? Just memeing, just content creation, cornhub.tv, dollar cost averaging, cold storage, buying those hardware wallets, keeping them, and just supporting all the other Bitcoiners on their own missions, right? So
yeah, I love it. That we can all tell our grandchildren stories of how we partook in the meme wars of the 2020s, and you know how difficult it was back then when we had to, you know, when the world was still valuing their wealth in fiat, and everything was eroded beneath us as every day. It must have been hell as we're living in citadels in the sky. I can picture it now. I don't know. Corey, what do you think we need to do to reach Jesse's grand vision of the future?
Well, we've de-risked it quite a bit this year. You know, I think in my view, we entered 2020 with, you know, probably like a mid-single digits chance of an eventual 6102 boots on neck, you know, First Amendment threatening action coordinated by the U.S. government, which to me was really the only extant known threat to Bitcoin. I think we exit the year with something sub 1%. And I think that is a testament to the evangelism, which has educated people, as you guys were just saying, and gotten all of these institutions to pile in, all the ones that I rattled off at the beginning. When these people have entrenched interests and they have business lines that are revenue generating, and they have an army of lobbyists and a huge army of lawyers, and more money is flowing into the crypto space, and, you know, hate Coinbase for, you know, fooling people into trading altcoins, and, you know, not saying the word Bitcoin in a tweet from the main handle from January to July. But, you know, it's obviously going to be really good for Bitcoin when Coinbase IPOs in a few months, and they'll go out at like 30 or something billion and probably trade up to 50 or 60 that day. And that's going to be huge for Bitcoin, and all these other people are going to pile in, and it's just going to be damn near impossible for any sort of coordinated, you know, intergovernmental effort around the world to do anything to Bitcoin ever, because you can't do that in a time frame that matters for Bitcoin purposes without the US leading it. And the US is just not in any sort of position. It doesn't even appear to have any sort of desire. It's just all the powers that be are just charging full forward toward wanting to make money off of Bitcoin. So the game theory and the ability to profit off of number go up technology is doing what it's damn well supposed to do, and grabbing all these people and inserting its mind virus, which is not only much more lethal, but also much more contagious than COVID. And everybody's getting it. And
It's
so,
fulfilling the prophecy.
yeah. So, you know, we launched Swan with the mission of like 10 million Bitcoiners, thinking that we had to get to, you know, an intransigent minority of people that both, you know, had skin in the game, meaning they owned a good chunk of Bitcoin, and then also would care about it enough to, you know, show up at a Brad Sherman town hall meeting in Burbank and shout him off the stage or whatever they'd have to do. And, you know, it appears that that's well underway. And I think, you know, I'd say there's probably like 1 million people now that understand Bitcoin. We're probably at the beginning of the year, that was probably more like 100 or 200,000 understand Bitcoin and have like a decent chunk of their money in it. So I think we're well on our way.
Yeah, I would echo that. It's crazy the change that we've seen this year alone. And it's also crazy kind of the environment that we're in right now, in that it's kind of perfect for the growth and I guess improving the use case of Bitcoin, and also in having that perfect kind of setup to show the value of Bitcoin. Governments that could, you know, delay that inevitability are too bogged down and you know, I guess they're distracted by everything that's going on right now, and the actions that they're taking just keep furthering Bitcoin and the need for Bitcoin. And I think they're going to have a hell of a time dealing with it when that becomes the priority, because by the time it becomes the priority, it's too late. Like I'd say it's already too late. They could definitely make it a pain in the ass for a while moving forward, but I don't think that's the focus right now. You know, you'll get the Steve Mnuchins of the world trying to pass some shitty legislation, but realistically, like what could happen right now? I mean, 2017, we saw China try to ban Bitcoin how many different times, and every time every time they said it, it was less effective, and there was less effect on the price. I kind of feel like maybe 2020 is the year where that happens, but for the US, where we get, the odd scary news of, oh, maybe there's something happening, maybe, and then it ends up being like kind of a big nothing burger each time. And because of that, just the confidence in Bitcoin grows and grows and grows, and it no longer becomes an attack vector for the next Bitcoin epoch. So yeah, it's exciting times. I'm very excited about where we're at.
You think about it, like, so Losky, who's kind of like the bet noir of New York Bitcoiners, creating the Bit license, like he's GC at NYDIG now, which is the ones that got Mass Mutual in, and they put $100 million of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And it's actually a place like run by awesome Bitcoiners, and they're investing in Bitcoin companies, not ours, but some other ones coming up. And, like the profit motive just turns people into, it makes you end up doing good things for Bitcoin. JP Morgan is banking Coinbase. Goldman Sachs is underwriting Coinbase's IPO. Like these are the people that are going to take the congressman that, sees the threat to the dollar or whatever, is going to take them aside and, do some horse trading and be like, just leave our burgeoning Bitcoin brokerage business alone and let us go ahead and, we just want to take DCG public real quick. And then we want to take Gemini public, and can you just like shelve that thing? And then they, behind the scenes, make sure that person doesn't get elected again.
Yeah. So I completely agree with Corey, and the thing that had me worried, and I've been covering this for the last, I would say 2 or 3 weeks, was first it was the 4 letters, the letter from the 4 congressmen kind of pleading to Steve Mnuchin, or we call him Mnuchin the chicken on our show. And we were kind of scared because the way that I saw that letter structured, it was basically saying like, look, they might ban self-custody. And that's a huge issue, right? Eventually they didn't do that, but they did something pretty bad too. They made Bitcoin withdrawals. It's like a cash deposit now. In a bank, they've had this law since the 1970s. If you deposit more than $10,000 in cash, you have to like sign a form. Well, now they're passing the same law, to exchanges, right? So it's a pain in the ass. It won't work. That's the thing that they don't understand, is that the more regulation you try to push upon Bitcoin, it's just going to force all of us just to stay in the network. We're not going to go back to cash, right? So I think that, man, I think that they don't know what they're regulating, and they only gave the public 15 days to reply, so I think it's BS. Yeah. Not a fan of the chicken.
Yeah, it's I mean, whatever. They'll go away. It will eventually go away. Nico, while you have the mic, let's get your reason for being bullish. But before we do that, of course, everybody in the live chat, we have 100 plus live viewers. Smash that fucking like button. Give this a share. I'm feeling festive and bullish along. Let's change this show banner. Breaking. Entire panel is bullish as fuck. So we're going to move on to Nico's reason. Dude, why are you bullish lately?
Okay, so I think Corey, and Jesse covered the institutional part very thoroughly, so I'm not going to touch upon that. But what I touch upon is I'll come at it from the mining perspective. Right now, the hash rate is about 10 times higher than it was at Bitcoin's all-time high in 2017. So, right, hypothetically, it doesn't really work like this practically, but hypothetically, the higher the hash rate, the higher it would take to rewrite Bitcoin's the whole chain, right? Now it's just become economically unfeasible, right? And then let's look at the other things, right? The other sides of Bitcoin infrastructure, like the cost of multi-sig solution, the hardware wallets that are coming out, they just become easier and easier and easier to use. I got my hands on the Foundation demo wallet. It took me 2 minutes to restore my seed, a 24-word seed. That's unheard of, right? Zach told me he's going to send you one, BTC session so you could do one of your videos. But man, when I saw that, my eyes lit up, and it was like, there's so much infrastructure. The hash rate is here. Corey and Jesse covered the institutions. Like, it's like all the planets are aligning. So the question is like, why am I bullish? It's like, why is anyone bearish? You would literally have to be stupid at this point, right? PayPal jumping in, announcing this was, I covered this a little bit, but this should have been a much bigger deal than it was. The CEO of PayPal went on CNBC and told everybody that he's allowing merchants that are already in the PayPal network to accept payments in Bitcoin, right? So if you want to pay for someone and if you want to pay for something, that person accepts PayPal, now you can pay with Bitcoin. That's insane, right? I'm not a big fan of PayPal because they don't allow you to withdraw, unlike Swan, but man, it's all the planets are aligning. Right now, you should be smash buying. If you haven't overdrafted your bank account right now, you're doing it wrong, okay? Buy Bitcoin. That's why I'm bullish.
Is that financial advice? That sounds like financial advice.
No, not fine. I mean, if you listen to me, my financial advice, I think they would delicense me, throw me in prison, but I would outperform all the Wall Street guys for sure.
100%.
I wanted to throw this in there because it's another great example of people that were like big haters, where the profit incentive just drags them back around. So I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Burger Kawasaki, Ross Burger. Pretty active, like FinTwit, Stock Twits, goes on shows and stuff like that. Probably has like 400,000 followers. It's been a big Tesla bull for a long time. Always been kind of a Bitcoin hater. He has, this is going to zero back in 2014. And I exchanged emails with him a little over a year ago, like 14 months ago. And he was like, I don't trust any of the exchanges. The custodians are garbage, blah, blah, blah. But like, you look at what's happened this year. And yesterday he announced that his big broker dealer financial advisory firm is going to be selling Bitcoin to all their clients in Q1.
Crazy.
So, it's pretty interesting. He's got a lot of people in the Bitcoin space that don't like him, but you know what? A lot of people don't like all kinds of people that are still going to be selling Bitcoin, and it still makes number go up.
The tides are turning. It's crazy. I think we're in for a massive year, and people that weren't around in 2017, I don't know if they're ready, because I don't know. Like, how did you guys feel? Like, how many of you guys were around for the entirety of 2017?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So I came in May, so I caught the back half of it.
So I'm class of 2016. So it was around for 2017. 2017 was actually one of the best years I've had. Followed by, you've done everything wrong. 2018 bear market smacked me in the face, right? But 2017, I thought I was a genius, right? 1 year of going, doing things myself, and this massive bull pump. I'm like, dude, I'm so smart. 2018 came about, and I was like, no, you're not. You're an idiot. And that really humbled the hell out of me. So, crawling through these trenches, right? 2018, 2019, where literally you needed all your determination and all your belief in Bitcoin to keep buying when the price just kept dipping, right? And I never lost faith. I bought every single day of the year, the days that I could afford, the days that I couldn't afford. I overdrafted like crazy, right? I don't care. I don't regret any of it. But it was all worth it at the end. So I'm so ready for this. I don't know if you are, Camilo, but I am.
Bear markets build strong hands, man. Like I was writing for the majority of 2019. And, I had just lived through 2018. My first purchase of Bitcoin was in Jan 17. So I got in just at the beginning of 2017. So at first I was like, well, this is easy. It just goes up. Like, this is easy. And then, the whole mania happened. But stuck around and basically started consuming all this amazing educational content that was coming out, right? Like 2018 and maybe the end of 2017, but 2018, there was tons of amazing writers that some burst on the scene and some had been around a while. But that is part of what inspired me to start working on it and being like, I need to contribute here. I feel like I can tell, this story. Jan Pritzker's book also, at the end of his book, he has a note about how, I think it was like Jimmy Songs, sort of inspired him and lit a fire under his ass to like, if you think you can do this, just do this. And I read that and I was like, maybe I can do this. So I built my conviction researching and writing the book, and it feels great to enjoy the fruits of that labor.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you. That's really cool.
So I want to round it out here, and I think given that we're finishing up 2020, we're heading into 2021, things are looking bullish, things are getting crazy. There's new people coming in. I want to, on the screen, I think all you guys can see it. There's a question from Matt Yu. He says, what's your advice to a noob just getting informed about Bitcoin in 2020? So what I was thinking is maybe we could do Matt a favor, as I think all of us are kind of here to help people that are just coming into the space, and give one tip each that you think is important for a newcomer coming in. And so I'll get started, and then we'll go down the line, and then we'll wrap it up. So Matt, my advice to you is that you should start with maybe, obviously you need hands-on experience to really kind of understand what you're dealing with. So I would advise to maybe start with the basics. Get yourself a wallet. Personally, I really like Blue Wallet. It's super noob friendly, but as you become a little bit better with Bitcoin, as you start needing some of those more advanced features, they're actually going to be there. They're just kind of not in your face and inundating you with too much information. So I would maybe start with getting a wallet and just stacking a few sats. And I would probably pick up and start reading the Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Ammous. That'll get you started. You'll be able to, understand a wallet, but while simultaneously kind of getting to know the why and how of Bitcoin. So start there. And if you're in the US, maybe look at Swan Bitcoin. Maybe that's where you can stack your sats. Nico, what do you have for Matt here? What would you give him as some intro advice?
Everyone learns differently, but I learned personally. We have a saying in Spanish. I learned a los coñazos, which just means I learned at just hitting myself on the head on the technical aspect and managing Bitcoin. But what really orange pilled me, and I always give he's taken a left turn lately, okay? But I do appreciate his work in the beginning. Andreas Antonopoulos, his speeches, I would watch them on repeat every single night for like 2 or 3 years. So go check out don't ignore all his Ethereum BS lately. I don't know why, but he just took a left turn. Maybe he got paid. I don't know. Nobody knows. But just focus on his Bitcoin stuff. His Bitcoin stuff will open your eyes to why Bitcoin is important, right? It opens how it fundamentally changes the world. And I think that as a noob, understanding that really opens your eyes to the possibilities of Bitcoin. And it just got me so excited, right? And then on the technical side, on the wallet side, Blue Wallet's an awesome wallet. Swan is awesome if you want to impulse buy or dopamine buy, like I like to call it, or set up dollar cost average. But yeah, man, you're so lucky you're getting in now. Back in my day, 2016, there was nothing, right? And of course, subscribe to BTC Sessions. He makes some awesome videos. So, if you do those things, you'll be fine, man.
Awesome. Camilla, what would you say? You've already started on your journey. You've miraculously, as I said earlier, neoed around shitcoins. What would you say to Matt, who's just getting started here?
Well, Matt, I am just a noob also. I am not even 1 month in. And the one thing I did do was read the Bitcoin Standard. And then the next thing I did was just get involved with the Bitcoin maximalist community, because these people are the most amazing people that you will interact with because they care. You know, they're not just trying to sell Bitcoin because, oh, we're just going to all get rich someday and, you know, 100K party. No, like these people, what I realized is even though I'm tweeting with them on my phone or just messaging, like they really do care and they know the why and how of this mission. I call it a mission. I call it, we're in a battle now. We're doing it together. So just, you have to armor up by just getting involved. Don't be afraid to get involved. The reason, like, just being here, talking to these amazing people that know so much more than I do, is just mind-blowing to me. Like it's a learning experience. It's amazing, but it just shows how welcoming everyone is. So don't be afraid to get involved. Go into Corn Hub, go into all of these other sessions and just get involved, talk. Bitcoin gives you a voice. Like I did not have a voice before this, super shy person, but when I knew everyone that was behind me, all the Bitcoin maximalists that are behind me, I was like, you know what? I just need to spread this message even more. And I'm new, so just get involved as much as possible because these people are amazing. I love these people.
That's awesome. Before we get Corey's take, I just got to thank Turtle Boy. You just dropped $50 as a super chat. Thanks, dude. I'm going to immediately convert that to sats. So that will be out of fiat and into sats. Rest easy. No dollars from me, but I really do appreciate it. Thanks, man. I that's great. Corey, what advice do you have for Matt as a noob?
I think you're good. I mean, you found your way here. So, you know, it's a good point. You've already made it probably past top of funnel and you're in the mid funnel and you're mixing it up and you're on one of those podcasts where people actually give advice directly to people in the chats. So I think you're probably going to be just fine. Yeah, I mean, I my favorite few books, and I kind of tailor it depending on who the person is. All my sort of like engineering, startup-y type friends, I usually start with Inventing Bitcoin. And then my sort of like more generalist or, you know, financy type friends or investor friends will either get Safe's book or Andy Edstrom's book if they're actually like fiduciaries and actually manage money because he just talks to them well. That's called Why Buy Bitcoin. You know, if they're not ready for a book, I still don't think there's a better start off article than Bullish Case for Bitcoin by Vijay Boyapati. Is just freaking perfect. And it wouldn't change a letter. And then if somebody is coming and you're aware of some of their pushback, then you can either just drop Lynn Alden's recent one about misconceptions or basically pick and choose the specific article from Parker Lewis that matches exactly what their problem is. So I actually find myself sending like Bitcoin obsoletes all their other money probably as often as I send VJs, because that seems to be the one that people have trouble with, is like, why will Bitcoin win? And I just think that Parker's piece, Bitcoin obsoletes all their money, is great. I still dial back with these, you know, sort of hard money, sound money, like must have intrinsic value types. I'll dig up Connor's article about, you know, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value, and that's great. And I just think he is such an elegant explanation with his legal mind and just, you know, debate skills and just crushing it. Sorry, I just like, you know, there's no one answer, and that's what's fun about it. Like people have different things, and that's why you get better at pitching Bitcoin over time, is because you have a lot of different arrows in your quiver. And, you know, it's so much more now than it used to be. The team today, we had our holiday party for Swan today, and they forced me to divulge some stories about how I got through the shitcoin horseshoe. Because like most people, I got fooled by altcoins in the first year and came back around to Bitcoin. And, you know, back then there wasn't that much. Like if you weren't lucky enough to like discover, you know, 2014 era Andreas videos right out of the gate, or maybe somebody passed you like Ansel Linder's podcast, you know, hopefully you would catch like the 5 minutes of maximalism on like a Tone and Jimmy stream that was mostly trading, you know, and that's what it was for me. Like it was just lucky that I ran into Jimmy at a conference, and he was the one guy out of 300 people at the conference that clearly just hated everybody else. And I find that very attractive. And I wanted to know why he absolutely loathed all the altcoiners. And that made me very curious about Bitcoin.
That's great. I love it.
There's a lot of
And so-
signal and hatred sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. So we're gonna pass it to Jesse again. Your advice for Matt and actually Matt, if you're still, I think you're still in the chat. I see you there. You know, Jesse, as he said at the beginning of the program, he wrote, it's a fucking excellent book, and I've got to say, like, as I was reading through it, you know, I'd get to a point, I'd read through, like, it's very condensed, like, to the point chapters, and I would read a chunk and I'd be like, oh shit, that's that thing that I would spend 20 to 30 minutes explaining in a paragraph. And it's considered, so you're kind of like, fuck me, why didn't I just say it that way? Jesse did. And so first check off his book and pick it up, Magic Internet Money. But Jesse, I'm done shilling for you, friend. There it is. I did get my hard copy just now. Hold on. I got it right here, man. It's fresh on the bookshelf. I love it. So, Jesse, other than picking up your fantastic book, what do you want to tell Matt?
Well, thank you for that chill. You guys are better at chilling it than I am. I'm a better writer, I think, than a speaker, to be honest. But for Matt, yeah, still here. Good. We're good you're still here. When I first got started, and I don't know, we don't know where you are in your journey right now, but when I first got started, one thing that really helped cement it for me was those first few transactions where you hit send and it goes and it disappears, and you have those few minutes of just angst and exhilaration where it's like, wait, did I screw up? Is this going to be okay? What happened? And then a few minutes later, it shows up on the other end. The light bulb goes off. It happened, like, that's how it felt for me when I first hit that transaction, and you really recognize the power that you take the responsibility to do something very precisely, and it will work out 100 times out of 100. If you do it right, it will match it will match that for you. It was a feeling, like, I mean, maybe because I've been thinking about money, and when I say thinking about money, not like I want to make so much money, but thinking about, like, what is money? This question has been on my mind since 2007, since before Satoshi, had come out with a white paper, because I was red pilled on Austrian economics during the financial crisis, and that, just light bulb that went off when I sent the transaction, and you realize that these fractions of coins go from here to my wallet, and no one else can have them, and they're not making more of them. That was just a hugely powerful thing. So if you haven't actually made a transaction, I don't know where you're getting your Bitcoin, if you're earning them, if they're on an exchange. If they're on an exchange, get them off, set up a wallet with a private key, watch one of Ben's tutorials, BTC Sessions tutorials, to learn about how to do that. And then, send that first transaction, send $5 and just see what it's like. And that really changed things for me when I got started. So that would be a good starting place for me. And of course, check out Magic Internet Money.
one foot in front of the other, friends. I think that's good. He quickly, before we go here, he said green address or green wallet. Blockstream Green, I do like it. There's some nuance to it. I did do a video on it if you have questions. But yeah, there's some good Bitcoin wallets out there for mobile. Absolutely. But yeah, play around, see what you like. Guys, I got to say, this was the perfect pre-Christmas moment with my Bitcoiner friends here. So I got to thank all of you for being here. Really quick, can we go down the line one more time and just who you are, where people can find you, and then we'll start signing off. Nico, let's start with you.
What's up, guys? I'm Nico, or as a lot of you know me, BitVault7 on Twitter. I make 10-minute Simply Bitcoin YouTube videos. We cover Twitter, we cover fails, we cover memes, we cover it all. It's a weekday show. It's awesome. Again, it's called Simply Bitcoin. And if you want to host miners on the cheap, go check out bitvault.com. Super easy to do. I'll hold your hand through the whole process. And, you know, you could just contact me if you want to know more about mining. My DMs are always open. And of course, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to BTC Sessions, now's a good time to do so. It's literally one of my favorite Bitcoin shows on YouTube. And thank you so much for having me on, man. Really appreciate it.
Glad you're here, man. And yeah, subscribe to Simply Bitcoin. They've got like it's the condensed, beautiful format, you know, a few good stories to get it in. If you're tight on time, smash that subscribe button, Simply Bitcoin. Camilla, oh, and before we jump to Camilla, Turtle, dude, what are you doing? You're dropping more dollars here. I've got work ahead of me. I gotta convert that to more sats. But thank you. I appreciate it. You're too kind, and you've made my Christmas. Camilla, let people know where they can find you.
Of course. So you guys can find me on Twitter at Camilla Campton. And you can also find me on TikTok at Camilla Campton. But a huge favor, because I'm actually going to be partnering up with Swan, and we're building this project on getting more education on TikTok, especially with younger people that really need this type of information, and to try to not get them to fall into scams with other coins. So follow on TikTok is going to be at swanbitcoin.com. And just be ready, because things about to get lit in there. So, yes. And
we are not ceding the territory to Rapple, Crapple, whatever the heck is out there. Not ceding the territory. Brady threw down the gauntlet. He even put like a dirty black and white filter on it to look extra tough, like straight out of Lawrence. Like it was straight G. But like 6 people watched it, and we were like, we're gonna need help.
I like. One dull geek said, "Oh, TikTok. I thought she was saying TED Talk. We can do one of those too. We can do when TED Talk, Camilla. When TED Talk. All right, Corey, let people know where they can find you."
Yeah, so I actually spend most of my day actually requesting memes. So I pretty much like support Brecky with ideas, and you know, looking forward to hopefully helping out with some ideas for Camilla. I also sometimes just post requests for memes to Bitcoin Arsenal on it's Bitcoin_Arsenal on Twitter. There's also a Telegram group called t.me/Bitcoin Arsenal, and you can request memes there, or you can go there and field requests for memes or riff on meme ideas with other people and just kind of go back and forth and then see it go out on Twitter. And, you know, we call it the arsenal because it's like where you get the weaponry for the money meme wars of the 2020s. So if you want to get grimy with the Bitcoin Twitter meme posse, that's where a lot of it goes down. I find that to be endless fun and super fascinating to see these things under construction. I will say, like, beware and have thick skin, because you too will get memed heavily if you are top of mind for someone. There are a couple of meme warriors in your chat right now, Ben, that have mercilessly memed me into submission to the point where you're just like, okay, fine, I'll just own it. So yeah, so here come Corey. Here go, Corey. Thanks for having me on. Corey Clipson on Twitter, swanbitcoin.com. I'm real accessible on DMs on Twitter. You got any questions about Bitcoin, you know, that's what we're here for. We've got an active couple of shows, Swan Signal Live on Tuesdays, Swan Lounge on Fridays. Our whole team is all about that education. And, you know, come whatever you want to know, we're here for it. Matt, by the way, I put my email address in the chat because I just don't care. Y'all can email me. It's all good.
R.I.P. your inbox, dude. That's all right. And Jesse, where can people find you?
So yeah, you can find me. I'm on Twitter at Jayberjay, JayBerjay. Check out my book, which has been shilled mercilessly now on this program. Yeah, like let's change the world, guys.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I think what better way to finish up there. Guys, thank you so much. Everybody in that chat, make sure you smash that like button. Give this a share. I couldn't have picked a better way to spend my Christmas Eve with you all, including everybody in the chat and all these wonderful guests. So be sure to give them a follow. The show notes have all of their Twitter profiles, and from there you can find everything else. But again, really enjoyed this. Corey, Nico, Camilla, Jesse, thank you so much. Really had a lot of fun. Yeah, I will see you guys soon. I'm gonna drop your video and audio here, and I'll just do a quick little outro for everybody. Guys, thank you so much. You're all legends. I love that you all came in. 100 and something odd live viewers. That's pretty rad. I'm not used to that. So that's fantastic. So again, if you enjoyed the show, if you really loved what you saw, of course, like, subscribe, share, all of those things help so much, and they help bump this type of content in front of more people. If you want to help out the show in another way, you can hit up the sponsors that I previously mentioned down below. That was the guys at LEDN. That was Cobo. That was BillFodl /privacypros.io, and that was Bitrefill. You can check those guys out. And if you really love what you saw, you can drop me a Bitcoin Lightning Network tip at my tippin.me page. That is tippin.me/@BTC sessions. And with that, I'm out. Have yourselves a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, wherever you may be, and I'll see you next time for your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.